Okay, take a look at this. This is gonna be your roadmap for getting your first paid brand deal in 2026. I've been making over 6 figures per year in brand deals for the last 3 years now, and I've developed a roadmap that you can copy and paste to start working with your dream brands. And you don't need a manager or an agency. I manage myself, which means I get to keep 100% of my brand deal revenue. There's no giving away a 20% commission around here. So if you wanna do that too, then you're gonna start with the same strategy that I use to get the attention of my dream brand and go on my first influencer brand trip. So step 1 is to determine who your target brands are. I recommend making a list of maybe 2 to 3 target brands that you're gonna go after with this strategy. You wanna keep this list short because if you focus on too many, it's not gonna be effective. As you're planning your content strategy, think about how you can produce content that is gonna promote these brands for free. I know, the whole point is that we're trying to get paid brand deals here, but this is the honest truth about how it starts. You need to organically integrate these brands into your content to prove how good you would be at it once they actually pay you to do it. In my case, my dream brand was Sony. So I started creating content where I could naturally mention their cameras, which was easy because I already owned them and love them and use them every day. And it made sense because my audience was interested in camera recommendations for content creators. I made sure to tag them in every post that I made that mentioned one of their cameras. And I think this part is pretty crucial. I tried to observe how they themselves were marketing the cameras that I had and tried to use similar positioning in the way that I talked about them. Like basically trying to intuit what the talking points might be if I was actually assigned a paid brand deal, because that way I knew that my content would align with their marketing goals. After consistently tagging them in posts that I made about their cameras, I eventually got a reach out from Sony and I was invited on one of their brand trips, Sony Camera Camp. Honestly, this was a dream come true to me. I really felt like if that's all I ever got, I would be satisfied. I just wanted to go on this trip. Like, I know that's pretty nerdy to admit, but like a Sony brand trip, like that was my Super Bowl. So going on this trip, I knew it was a big opportunity. I was gonna put everything I had into making the best content covering that trip. I wanted to show them that when given the opportunity to showcase their brand, I was gonna do it right. And following that, I eventually started getting paid opportunities to make content for Sony as well, and they continue to be a long-term brand partner that I'm super grateful to get to work with. And it never would have happened if I wouldn't have played the long game. So here's how you can apply this yourself. So like I said, set 3 target brands that you're gonna chase after with this content strategy. Then you're gonna make sure to intentionally plan 1 post per month that promotes that brand. Make sure that it's organic and authentic to you and relevant to your audience. And of course, also make sure to tag the brand in your content so that they have a better chance of seeing it. And finally, another good way to get on a brand's radar is to follow them on Instagram and make sure that you engage with their content as well. So you're tagging them, you're showing up in their comment section, you're giving yourself a better chance of being seen. And then finally, when you eventually do get the opportunity to work with them, even if it's small, even if it's unpaid at first, make sure that you absolutely slay it. Consider your first opportunity working with a brand to be like an audition. You want to give it to your best and prove to them why they should hire you again. The next step is to make a media kit. If you're not familiar, a media kit is basically a rate sheet for content creators. You can kind of think of it like a menu with different options and prices, but it's also going to include some crucial details that will help you sell yourself to potential brand sponsors. So some of the main things you're going to want to include in a media kit are who you are, like basically an elevator pitch of yourself, and who your audience is. Arguably, that's the most important part of your entire media kit right there, because that's who the brands are paying to reach. So they want to make sure that this is actually their target customers. You also need to include what you're offering and what you're charging for it. You know, whether that's a sponsored Instagram reel or a YouTube integration, whatever the content might be, explain it and list some prices. And then finally, of course, the obvious thing, you need information about your social platforms and your stats on them. Not just how many followers you have, but what the typical reach of your posts is, because that's really the most important part. And for bonus points, if you've got the experience, you might even include some case studies or like past brand sponsorships that you've done to give the potential brand an idea of the work that you can do. This media kit is gonna come in handy once you start talking with brands, whether they reach out to you or whether you're going to pitch them, which we'll talk more about in just a minute. This is a really professional and concise way of communicating your value as a creator to the brand. Honestly, they're probably gonna ask for this info anyway, so just having it all prepared in a nicely designed PDF makes it easy for you to just attach it to your email response. If you wanna use my exact media kit template for yourself, like the one you're seeing screenshots of here, I actually have that up for sale on my Stan store, so I'll have that linked in the description. Speaking of which, while brand deals are a really great source of income, they shouldn't be your only source of income as a creator. And a great way to generate more revenue for your creator business is by using Stan, the sponsor of today's video. Stan Store is an all-in-one app to help you turn content creation into a business. It's the best way to sell your digital products and more on social because your followers can purchase from you without having to leave the app. Not only is it user-friendly from the creator perspective, but it's great for your followers as well. To set up your first digital product, you just open Stan Store, you navigate over to My Store, and then all you gotta do is press Add Product. And you can see there's actually a bunch of different options that you can choose from here. You can host a course, a recurring membership, even a free or paid community. But let's just say you wanna do a basic digital product like a PDF, for example. It walks you through all the steps of adding your thumbnail, your title, and all that good stuff. And then you're pretty much ready to go and start selling. Stan does more than just help you sell your digital products. It's an all-in-one platform for creators with features like DM automations, email marketing, an appointment booker, and so much more. You can start generating revenue with Stan today. Just sign up at the link in my description. So now it's time for you to actually pitch the brands that you've been chasing with your content. There's a couple different ways you can go about this. The first way is by reaching out over Instagram DMs. Depending on the size of the brand, this could be more or less effective, but I think it's worth a try. But what you're not gonna do is you're not going to send your pitch over DMs. Instead, you're gonna write a message like this. Hi there, I'm a niche content creator based in location, and I'm a huge fan of your brand. In particular, I'm obsessed with your product, and I use it every day and would love to share it with my audience. I have an idea for a collaboration that I think would be perfect for brand. Could you please let me know the email address of the best person for me to connect with about this? The reason why you're not gonna do this is because the person checking the DMs is most likely their social media manager, who is not also going to be the brand partnerships manager. So you're just pitching to the wrong person. So you wanna make sure you target your pitch to the person who can actually make those decisions. But I'm also gonna be honest with you, if you are DMing a big brand, you might have a hard time getting a response because they probably get thousands of DMs a day. So if you don't hear anything back from this, your next best step is to work towards writing your email pitch through a bit of Googling. You might Google something like brand name and then influencer partnerships or partnerships manager, or depending on the size of company, you might be able to go to their website and look for something like an Our Team or staff page. If none of that's working, another thing you can do is go creep around LinkedIn and look up the brand that you want to work with. Go to the People tab on LinkedIn and start to look through for somebody with like partnerships in their title. And if it's a small brand and there's nobody with a partnerships role, the best person to try to reach out to would probably be someone in marketing. And often you can guess corporate email addresses, but I wouldn't message them over LinkedIn either. Instead, I would still try to send an email, and often you can guess corporate email addresses by just going like first name at brand.com, or try a few variations of that, and you might just be able to reach them. Then ultimately, you're gonna put together an email pitch. What you include in this pitch is going to make or break whether or not you secure this partnership. Way too many creators approach this from the perspective of asking the brand for something. If you go into brand partnerships thinking about it like receiving a gift or getting a reward or something, that's not gonna help you secure brand partnerships. Like, it just comes across as kind of unprofessional and immature. You need to look at this as an exchange of value where whatever you're offering to the brand is actually worth what they're paying you. You're not reaching out to ask for free product. You're not reaching out for like a special opportunity, you know, like you're offering them a service. So make sure to focus your pitch on what the brand is going to get out of it, not what you're gonna gain from it or how much you'd love to work with them. Also, you're not just gonna propose a generic collaboration or just kind of leave them with saying you'd love to partner. You're gonna tell them the exact kind of content that you want to make about their product and why you think it's gonna connect with your audience. You could maybe even reference past examples of your content to give them a sense of what you make. Basically, you wanna make it as easy as possible for the brand partnerships manager to say, yeah, let's go for it. And if you leave it too open-ended and the partnerships manager has to guess at what kind of content you might make or what the process is gonna look like, you're honestly just giving them too much work to do, and they're gonna be less likely to agree. Especially when you're a small creator just getting started, There's a lot of other creators with a similar audience size that these partnerships managers could pick from. So one way that you can stand out, other than just having like really great content and a really great customer audience fit, is being really professional and really easy to work with. You want to make their job easy. If you want a handful of copy paste email pitch templates that you can use and modify for yourself when you start pitching, that's also included alongside my media kit in my content creator starter kit. Basically, it's a bundle of resources that I personally use to run my own creator business. And I like to add new stuff every so often to keep it fresh. So if you've already purchased the content creator starter kit in the past, make sure you check that Notion link because there's some new stuff in there. And of course, if you buy it now, you'll get all the future updates too. So at this stage, you're most likely wondering, okay, Katie, what do I actually charge for these brand deals? And I wish that I could tell you a specific number based on the followers you have or the number of views that you get. But the truth is, it's a lot more complicated than that. Brand deal rates vary a ton based on niche, based on target audience, location, and based on the type of brands that you're working with. For example, I'll admit that myself as somebody working kind of in the tech space, there tend to be higher brand deal rates in this niche than in the general lifestyle niche, for example. Like basically, I know that I'm getting paid more for the number of views that I have than if I was just vlogging. Which makes sense because if you think about it, brands are willing to pay more for you to sell a $500 camera than they would be for you to sell a $15 lip balm. Or at the very least, you'd have to sell way, way, way more lip balms to make it worthwhile for them, right? So it's really hard for me to tell you any specific numbers. But what I can tell you is the best way to find the correct brand deal rates for you is through negotiation. You kind of just have to pick a number to start with and then gain feedback and input through negotiation with brands so that you can learn how much you realistically should be charging. The baseline rule is if you quote your rate and they agree right away, then your rate was probably too low. To be getting paid what you are actually worth, you should be expecting brands to negotiate with you. For example, if you want to get paid $5,000 for a sponsored Instagram reel, then the rate in your media kit really should be like $7,500 because it gives the brand room to negotiate while still hopefully landing on the rate that you want. Over time, you'll get a sense of what's realistic based on how many brands agree to your rates and how many of them push back and ask for something cheaper and how many of them just walk away because your rate is way out of their range. And I just want you to know that's okay. Like I still constantly have brands coming to me offering me rates that are like 10% of what I actually charge for that piece of content. So don't let that shake your confidence too much. Like some brands will just be very cheap. They'll have a very low budget, or maybe the target customer audience alignment just is not quite there. The brands who are willing to pay you the most are the ones whose target customers line up the most with your audience. So even though it's really tempting to take it as like an assessment of your value as a creator, it's actually more of an assessment of how well who they're trying to reach overlaps with who you already reach. Now, to turn this into a sustainable business that's actually gonna be a full-time income for you, you need to master the art of the follow-up. This is something that I implemented regularly back in 2022 when I decided I really wanted to take brand deals seriously, and it transformed my income from about $70,000 a year to now multiple six figures. And essentially, the process looks a little something like this. After you finish a brand campaign, you're gonna send a really nice final email to wrap it all up. Hi brand, I'm excited to be delivering the final live links for all the content in this campaign. You can find the invoice for the campaign linked below. It's been such a pleasure working with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing my audience's response to the content. I would love to continue this partnership in the future. Please keep me in mind for any future collaboration opportunities that you have. Thanks, Kate. And after that, you're gonna set yourself a calendar reminder for about a month later to go back to that same email thread to pitch yourself for another collaboration. When you follow up with them, you're once again going to come to them with a really clear and concise pitch of exactly the kind of content you want to make and why you think it'll resonate with your audience. I'm talking exact idea, title for the video, date you want to publish it. And then of course you're going to ask them if they'd be interested in sponsoring it. This gives you an opportunity to work with your dream brand again, hopefully turning them into a repeat client that could mean sustainable recurring income for you. The best way to get brands wanting to work with you again is to be professional and be easy to work with. If you make the process seamless for the brand partnerships manager that you're working with, honestly, sometimes that can mean more more than even the results that you generate on the campaign. I mean, obviously that part is important too. You need to get good reach and you need to have good conversions, but that's not everything when it comes to getting rehired. And also I just want to say it's not all on you either. It can be really easy to get down on yourself if you post a piece of sponsored content and it doesn't perform how you or the brand wanted it to. But sometimes it just comes down to the product audience fit. And while you might guess that your audience would be interested in a product that you want to talk about, it might not be of interest to them and you didn't know that before. So you tried your best, it's okay, it's an experimentation. We never can guarantee brands specific reach or results, but we can try our best and we can be professional and pleasant and hardworking, and I think that goes a really long way. So that is the guide. I hope that you found this helpful, and I really believe that if you implement this, you will start to see brand deals coming in by the end of this year. If you want more full-time creator tips from me, you can check out this video next. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.